It's time for another Ultimate Fighter recap. This time we got Tito's first pick for fights. We get a little criticism of Tito's training regiment, I suppose is the word, primarily from Kaisi Uscola, and he has some points here. If you take someone from, say, a more lax training regiment, which a lot of these guys are coming from, and you throw them into a Tito Ortiz-esque regiment, you're going to have some problems as far as being able to keep up, because people aren't used to it. Tito's training methods are good, but they're good in a long-term, long exposure type of way, like repetitively doing it. It's not perhaps geared towards the Ultimate Fighter as much. It worked in Season 3 because Ken was too lax. You got to find that balance, I think. And perhaps he's overworking them a little bit. We'll see. Looks like next episode we may get something towards that, though. But more on that later. The fight pick is Tito wants Chris McRae to take on Joshua Bryant. It's Joshua Bryant, yeah. That's his name. Two basically wrestlers with some hands going at it. A couple of the intangibles. Chris McRae, we don't know really what his chin's like. Josh seems to have a pretty good chin. Both of them seem to be pretty good cardio-wise. This is all before the fight, for the record. And, maybe Chris has a slight edge in wrestling. Going on, though, we have Clayton McKinney is injured. The shoulder has to be surgically repaired. So he's done. So that brings some talk about the wild card spot. There are of course three candidates, being James Hammertree, Kaisi Escola, and Charles Blanchard. Blanchard being pretty much out of it because he basically gave up in his fight, and I agree. You got to do something with Rich Antonio's spot, so I suppose he's technically still in the wild card run, because either you get that spot to Escola and you have Hammertree fight Blanchard, or you have two fights, and in which case, he's still in the running that way. So, he won't be eventually, but that's how it is now. We get to the fight. First round I gave to McRae. He did more with takedowns. He won what little stand-up there was. Josh had some moments, but not enough to really win the round. Round two, pretty much the opposite. Josh letting his hands go a little bit more, and he really needed to do that more in the fight. I think he would have finished McRae, because McRae was really gassed out. Bryant was pretty gassed out too. They both kind of pushed through it, which was good to see, because it brings, they have a lot of the intangibles as a fighter. Some guys just completely shut down when they gassed. Neither of these guys really did that, but technically speaking, they were both quite sloppy. They were both gassed, which is obviously a problem. Aside from that's what we learned in the second round. Third round, Brian getting a couple takedowns. Bryant landing some good punches. He got his back, tried to choke him out, didn't work. Tried to go for an armbar after that. Chris McRae winds up losing a decision. Good call. I hope this kind of answers, people's repetitive thing about how Tito had such a better team, yet he's going to win at best 3 fights, and really 2 fights, because Seth Bakaczynski, no offense to the man, but I know him from the IFL. He does not have the skills to beat, he's already lost to Court McGee. I think he'll lose again. If he fights Joe Henley, I don't know enough about Joe Henley, but Seth is not a terribly good fighter, is basically what I'm getting at here. Nick Ring will probably win his fight and go on with Jamie Yeager, and he will probably, dominate the wild cards, because basically Blanchard's not going to be going on in the show. Court McGee and Joe Henley are the other 2 options. Whoever loses to Nick Ring might get in there. And, I kind of said this. I didn't really understand why people were really hyping McRae to the point that they were. Yes, yes, he finishes people. Yes, he looked good getting into the house. That being said, he's pretty untested and had generally been smoking guys who you have to smoke if you want to be on the UFC radar. And that was kind of my point when people were kind of faulting Chuck for not taking him. It looks like Dana and Chuck are going to have a fight, a little bit of a blow up next time. It looks like James Hammertree, I think, was the guy who looks like he gets a neck injury. It was a white guy. That kind of narrows it down. It was not Kaisi Scola because you see him talk. You know, he blames Tito for McRae's loss apparently as well. Um, you see him sitting out there, and it's not Yeager and McRae just based on color of skin. It's not McKinney because he wouldn't be practicing. So by process of elimination, we're down to Bakachinsky, Hammertree, and Nick Ring, and they say that it is a wild card possibility. So it's probably Hammertree. It also sounds like Hammertree and looks like Hammertree. So it looks like he might be done. But we shall see, because this wouldn't be the first time we've been led astray by a preview. Anyways, that's all. 4-1 Chuck. Later.